Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I'm actually going to talk about Bitcoin, gold, and silver, and not the stock market this weekend. So we're going to start off looking at the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, because I still think that it tracks Bitcoin fairly well. You'll see my analysis. We'll pull up a chart of Bitcoin, a long-term chart, just to show you a tie back into GBTC. Then we'll take a look at gold and silver. So let's start off here. This weekly chart of GBTC is all the data since it started trading back here in May of 2015. And right now, when I look at this, I think we're in cycle wave 3 to the upside. And within cycle wave 3, we're working a 5-wave sequence. And so far, it continues to act bullish and looks like it wants to continue to trend higher. Now, there is an alternative approach in terms of, tying this cycle wave in back to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at a long-term chart of Bitcoin. Okay, here is a weekly chart of Bitcoin, and this is all the data that I could find. And as far as I could tell, this is when it started trading back in 2011. You can see the low was around $2. And we had a first very strong move that went up to around almost $1,150 or so. And then a very strong pullback, another strong move up to, what was this, 18,000, a little over 19,000 actually. And then we got a pullback and then the rally up into the 60,000s. And the high right here in April of this year was 64,895. Now we've actually edged above that in October. We got to 67,016. But when you look at this, where did GBTC come trading? GBTC came live right in here in May of 2015, right in this area, right in here. And you remember that first little pullback that we had right here, right here? That's what I'm talking about when I look at this chart right here. Okay, so here's the first wave of GBTC. It's actually the second thrust or the third wave. One, let me get my marker out. Let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're doing a fifth wave. Now, and I do think that this is still underway. Okay, so that's what I think is going on with the longer term approach to Bitcoin. And when you look at this, this is actually the third wave of Bitcoin. And therefore, what could this possibly be here? It could possibly be, a big fourth wave. So let me take a look at that, pull that up right here. So this is where, that's not good. This is better. Here's what I'm wanting to do. Let me shrink this back down. Here's where I'm talking about. And let me shrink it even more. Okay, so here's that first cycle wave from 2011. Okay, so what I've done is I've labeled the cycle waves just like what I just showed you in here, right? Here's the first one up into 2013. Okay, and that's where we have this coming right. Actually, I've got this labeled into 2014, but we're close. We're talking about this wave, this pullback, and here's this third wave of Bitcoin, which is actually the first wave of GBTC. Then what looks like a possible big sideways triangle for the fourth cycle wave in here of Bitcoin. And now we're in the fifth cycle wave. Now, the real key with this wave structure, what we want to see is a continued thrust to the upside in here on GBTC. Take out this high. And so far, it seems to be acting that way. Like when I just showed you the Bitcoin edged above right in here in October, it got to 67. So it looks like and acts like it wants to continue thrusting higher. But if for whatever reason this were to roll over and break down and start coming down, especially if it were to roll over and take out this July lows, then you've got to sit back and say, well, maybe the alternative is that this is the fifth, that this is all we're getting for the fifth cycle wave. I don't think that's the case, but yeah, you have to look at it and say, well, there's, it is a possibility. So, and what I want to see is this continue to push higher, like I expect it to, take out this high, and then we'll continue to count this as a five-way structure unfolding in here for cycle wave 5. Okay, that's the picture that we've got on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at gold. Okay, here's a long-term chart of GLD. Now, back here in 2011, here's the peak that happened in gold, okay? Now, why do I have this at 0? Because I'm not really labeling the wave structure back over here because I only have data back into 2004 on GLD. And clearly, gold bottomed, I think it was around 2001, 2002. I think it was around $200 an ounce or so. And then this was a big impulsive move, and it peaked in 2011. So right now, I'm looking at this and saying, I think there's a pretty good chance that what happened between 2011 to the low here at the end of 2015, December 2015, was a big corrective move, okay? And I've got that labeled as a WXY, combined corrective move in here. Now, since that time, I think you can label this as a strong bullish move to the upside in here, and that we're in the third primary move to the upside. And right now, it has continued to act like it wants to push higher. It has refused to break down. Now, I'll tell you, if it were to turn around and take out this low, for example, right here, 157.13, then you got to sit back and say, maybe something else is really going on here. Okay, but right now, I'm leaning into the bullish scenario. Okay, and again, just like if you look at a disclaimer on this channel, I'm not making recommendations to buy or sell. This is educational. This is explaining a perspective that I have on this particular instrument, let's call it, GLD, and which represents gold. So right now, this last week was a pretty nice move, up $3.19. It closed very close to its high. Did it close above the high 2 weeks ago? Let's see, 169.54. We closed 169.84. So just a few cents above it. So if this is really in the bullish move, which it seems like it, it broke out of that little trend line, we got a little pullback last week or the week before, and then now it looks like it wants to resume. I'm looking for this to continue to push higher, and that's absolutely critical. We need to see it continue to push higher. All right, now silver is of a similar vein. Basically the same kind of scenario that we're looking at. It's a different structure, but when I look at silver, I'm leaning into the bullish scenario here. Now we got a little bit of a fake out because when we broke below this low from November 20 of last year, or 2020, we was kind of wondering, okay, are we breaking down? Is this, refusing to do the bullish scenario? But then that week really looks like a reversal type move that was put in, a potential bottom. And what have we done since then? We've basically pushed to the upside. So what I've done is I've labeled it like this, like an ABC corrective pattern from this high over here in August of last year. We've really just kind of chopped sideways, just cycled sideways here in silver. So we continue to push up in here in an impulsive type of pattern. This could really take off, but it's going to need to continue to push higher, take out these highs, what was the high in January of this year? 27.98. Where did we close? 22.35. We closed on Friday. So right now it looks and acts like it wants to continue to push. We'll see if we continue to get that. But that is the picture I've got on silver and, of course, gold and Bitcoin. Right now, they all look like they want to continue to track to the upside. All right, that's it for this weekend. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little bell in there and hit that little subscriber button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like more of this information, we look at these, all three of these actually, every day over here at joehenches.net. Check out the website, check out the membership. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.